Oh, folks, welcome to a cold day in the farm today. I think it's about 4 degrees out right now, and the wind is blowing from the north, and wind chill feels about -20. Gosh, just the other day it felt like it was almost spring. I was out smoking meat, and it was wonderful. Well, regardless, as we get into these colder days sometimes on the farm, I like to do some cleanup and get into some projects, and I've been working on some bow stuff on the new stand. And one of the questions that's come up is, why I upgrade to such a nice press from the press I had. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to show you. And you guys can be the judge, because the press I had was nice too. So let me take you along here for a second. So right here is the Easy Green press. This is a really nice press, folks. There's just no way around it. These are really nice presses. I would guess you probably could get this press for under $500 just the way it is. It's got 5 fingers because you have the oh shoot, I forget what they call that one, where it doesn't have the hook, so you can get past it when you shorten it. It comes with a handle, not a wheel, a handle. It bolts down. I do not have it bolted on anymore, so it's not bolted down. It has a length that opens up to about 48 on its tape measure here. I don't know how easy you can see that. See if I can tip my camera so you can see it. And, it's got these nice little caps on the end, back on, that I put back on. But I had them off because I had the puller on it so that I could pull the bow. But this is a really nice press still, folks. But it does some things that are really convenient, but it also can't do some things that I wanted to do. So when you're thinking about a bow press and you need to be affordable and you need to be strong, this is the way to go. Because you can easily, hook a DeWalt or Milwaukee or any type of Ryobi up to this with a socket, and you can turn it and make it easier to crank. That's a piece of cake. You can press most bows in it. Again, these are adjustable, these little fingers. So just like the newer models, you can really pull these in if you got a little kid's bow, and you can really open it up for a wider bow. But the limitations on the kids' bows, because remember, that's what I work with a lot, okay, have to do with this distance down here on the tape. It shuts to about 25 inches. That's about all it shuts to. So when you get the really small kids' bows, it almost doesn't shut enough. It almost doesn't press enough. And that was kind of the start of my adventure for wanting a better press. For sake of argument, again though, you can put your clamp device that you can buy from like a Last Chance Archery on here. You can put a scale in the middle and put it down here, and you can draw that bow all the way back and do that kind of work. You can press the bow, change the strings, work with D-loops, certainly put on peep sights, stuff like that. Absolutely fantastic for that kind of stuff. It's built like a Sherman Tank. It really doesn't take up a lot of room when you condense this thing down. I can actually probably start that process because I've just got it temporary on the workbench here with clamps. But there are some things that are nicer on the upcoming ones or the higher grade models if you are thinking of spending, hundreds of dollars more. And I do say that nicely because the higher grade models, realistically, they almost double the price of this. So if you're just a person that wants to press a bow at times so you can change out your string, you want to do some D-loops, you want to fix a peep sight, you want to do maybe a little bit of measuring on your bow, stuff like that, this press would work fine. If somebody had to ask me, though, as to whether I'd buy a press versus a vise, I'd buy a bow vise first. A bow vise has more value to the beginner person than the press does, and most people have access to an archery shop which can press the bow and do the work for you if you needed to anyways. So start with a vise. That would be my recommendation. And then if you want to press, you kind of got to think about what you're going to use the press for. In my life, with large farm family, having 6 kids, there's a lot of different bows. There's left-handed bows on this farm. There's right-handed bows. There's bows that have axle to axle at 22 inches, and there's bows that are axle to axle over 30 inches. So that makes a huge difference. Now, my bow, which is a Matthews, and my Diamond, they fit in right about here, about the 34-inch mark. This is where they would, start fitting in. And I would probably be, compressing them down to, give or take, just about maybe 30 or 29, depending upon those bows. My oldest daughter, she's got an Eva Gen bow by Bowtech, and I think, it can't be that big. I'm gonna guess it's under 29 or right about there. So again, when I press that down in this kind of press, I can go down to 27 and get that bow in. Yeah, easily. And I still got a couple inches left. But if I take my daughter's, she's got, what is hers? Hers is a bear, small youth bear. And she's got a 26 inch, and I can only press it down to 25. I can't get very far with it. So that's where the factor comes in for me. So again, you can see, if I can maybe get you an overhead shot of this. Look how nice and compact it is. It's easy to move around. It doesn't weigh that much. Just a really nice bow press. But what it's lacking isn't just the comforts of a big circular wheel here. It's lacking in just a few things if you use it for other bows. And I would especially say kid bows. It just doesn't come quite enough. The other thing that would be in that same line is the crossbows. Many of you guys know that I've got Barnett crossbows. We've got Raven crossbows on the farm here. We've got the R26, really small bow. You need to really compress that down. And then we've got the Mission, or the Matthews crossbows on the farm. And those crossbows also need the small space. So I'm going to swing over here. Yes, I've got a rabbit in the shop because it's really cold out, and she's close to giving birth. And I'm going to show you this side. So this is, my upgraded version here, the Ultimate Easy Press. And you can see I don't even have it all the way in to as far as I can go. I can go probably another inch in here, and I can move this bar all the way up to here and slide this all the way in. So basically I can probably get, if I can show that, I can probably get all the way to there. I mean, I'm literally playing in an extremely small space, which allows me then to work on the crossbows. I find that absolutely awesome. But the other advantage is this guy here going out, well over 50 inches. I can work on the big bows, but I also can work on all my kids' bows, and that's great. The other thing I like about this is, and I can probably do it here, switch hands here for a second so I can hang on to things. I'm just going to release this just so you can see. This one does have the joint in the middle of it so that I can put the bow in, if you want to think about it in more of a vertical stance, and then I can work with things as far as sight lineup and stuff, and I like that. As far as drawing the bow, yes, I can still draw the bow. I can, grab onto it, bring it back up here into the regular stance for a second. I could take it, I can hook up to the bow, I can put the scale in between and fully draw the bow. And then, of course, what's nice about that is when you start talking second and third access tuning, you can free it up. And when I free it up with the bow in a full draw, I can use my wall there, and I can just tip the bow, which is really nice. And I can basically check the sight alignment much easier for the different axes with just a simple line down the wall, which I find to be just very helpful. So when I look at this setup, and I look what I upgraded to and why I upgraded, I can pretty much answer the question easily by saying I needed one that could go a little bit smaller for kid bows, and I wanted something that could delve into the crossbow more. And this beast certainly did it for me, which is why I went to it. But again, I'm not shorting this thing at all. Price point wise, much better price point. Ease of use, much easier to use. Mountability, it's more compact and closer and easier to mount. When you mount this, you've got a lot more distance between here and here because of the ability of that to turn, versus the Easy would mount right here and its arms would just be right out here. So here I'm way out more into the room. I think you do probably want to consider a very strong base then for this, because you're getting much more torque out here. Even though bows aren't very heavy, you certainly want to be aware of that, okay? Versus this, if I shoot right down the profile of this, if I can do that for a second. I mean, here's the bar. It can be mounted right on the edge of a table like I've got it here. And you're only out about 6 inches, and that is really nice. It's also much easier to take this down and store this. Literally, if you watch videos like, I'm trying to think, I mean, Josh Jones, watch him out on Podium Archery. He's got these things clamped to tables all the time. It pops off clamps and moves them. You know, so again, they're very lightweight. You could easily throw this in the back of your pickup if you had a trip somewhere that you're not going to be too far from your vehicle, and your press would go with. They make this style in a pack and go, and that's pretty nice too. This is obviously got the table mount legs on it, but you also can get this in a form that I believe mounts to a wall, so it can be compact up against a wall too. So there's a lot of good things I like about an Easy Green press by Last Chance Archery. But again, if you want to get into those archery disciplines that aren't just a traditional compound bow that's say 29 to 38 inches, you might want to think about an upgrade, especially if you're talking kid or youth bows like I do with 4-H a lot, or you're into things like crossbows or some of the more eclectic even target bows that are really pushing those long distances. You might want to think about the upgrade at that point. Price point wise though, you're probably coming in under $500 for the whole setup, which is much more affordable for the common person, versus a setup like this. Ooh, I'm guessing you're pushing $1,000 if not more, depending on how you do it. And again, I come back to the same point. If the very first thing you're going to buy to work on a bow, buy a vise. It's probably the most handy. That vise has just been fantastic. Second thing to buy, obviously, if you're really into it and you're going to do a lot of high-end stuff, buy something like this. But if your second thing to buy and you're not going to be doing a lot of high-end stuff, not a lot of multiple bows, certainly not crossbows or kid bows, this is what I would go to, folks. This is absolutely perfect, and I would highly recommend it. A United States made, durable product, supported by the veterans of this country. I love it. What more can I say? So I just wanted to kind of go over that, kind of show you folks. I know some people have been asking me lately, why the upgrade, why the change? I just wanted some more features so I could work on some more bows that I needed to work on. At this stage of my life, certainly for my own kids, I wanted to be able to do it, but also for the people that I work with and coach. Not everybody out here in the country wants to drive a hour to a bow shop, and we've got a fantastic bow shop probably about maybe 35 miles from me, and it's a fantastic bow shop. But again, getting down to those folks down there at Full Draw, getting down to Willie and them and letting them work on it, that's awesome. But there are times where you just want to fix some things up yourself, and these bow presses help me do that. So for those of you that had seen that Easy Green and wondering why I went with the Ultimate, I hope that answers that question. Guys, please like, subscribe, and follow along, and I'll keep putting out great videos like this. Thank you.